everyone. Welcome to this session. And the previous session, we studied about argument or amplitude of a complex number. Argument of a complex number. Where argument is also called amplitude. Argument is also called amplitude. Argument of a complex number means, so if Z is equal to A plus IB is any non-zero complex number, then first we'll take its representation on the plane. So we know how to represent the complex number A plus IB. So first we'll consider the corresponding ordered pair of real numbers A and B and try to mark it on the plane. So we will mark, so first we'll mark the X distance, then the Y distance. So where these two lines will meet, so that will be the point, the ordered pair A comma B, and it is associated uniquely with the complex number A plus IB. So this is the point A plus IB. Then we'll join the point A comma B and the origin. And by the analytical formula, we can see that the length of the line joining these points is nothing but modulus of Z. That is, modulus of Z is square root of A square plus B square. And we'll take it to be R. Now measure the angle subtended by this line with respect to the positive real axis. Measure the angle subtended by this line joining the point A comma B and the origin with respect to the positive real axis. That angle is nothing but argument of Z. That angle is defined to be argument of Z. Right? Now the other way. Suppose for a given non-zero complex number A plus IB. Suppose for a given non-zero complex number A plus IB, you know what is R, that is modulus of Z, and what is argument of Z. Suppose for a given non-zero complex number, you know what is modulus and what is argument. Then can we mark the point A plus IB? So by observing this graph, so where is this point A plus IB? A plus IB, it is actually the end point of this line. Actually, this line has two end points. One is the origin, the other is A comma B. And the origin is common for any point. If you mark any general A plus IB, so this line, one of the end point of this line will be obviously origin. So neglect that one. So the end point of this line will be A plus IB, where that line will be subtended at an angle theta. So where is this point actually? It is the end point of this line, which is actually subtended at an angle theta. And the length of this line is R. So these are the observations. Now go in the other way. So now I have to mark the point A plus IB in another method. In first method, we have used the ordered pair relation. So we have marked the ordered pair A comma B, and that point will be nothing but A plus IB. So this is how we represent complex numbers generally. Now, if I know what is the modulus of Z and argument of Z, then can I mark the point? So first, what I need a line joining, or I'll need a line of length r. I need a length of r from origin. So mark a line of length r on the positive real axis. So first I use r. Now rotate this r in anti-clockwise direction for a measure of theta. So now this is a line of length r whose end point is this, and it is subtended at an angle theta with respect to the positive real axis. So this end point will be nothing but a plus ib. So here in representing the complex number a plus ib, we used the modulus of z and argument of z. So first we mark a line of length r on the positive real axis, then we made it to rotate. Then we gave it a rotation of an angle theta. So if we rotate this for an angle theta, then it will take this position, and the end point of this line at this position will be nothing but the complex number a plus ib. Thus the concept of modulus of a complex number and argument of a complex number gives you another method of representing complex numbers, where we need again an ordered pair of real numbers, where r is modulus of z and theta is argument of z. So initially also, to represent complex number a plus ib, we were using an ordered pair of real numbers a and b. Now we need ordered pair of real numbers r and theta. Now, okay. Now to get this position, so what is the rotation which I gave? It is theta. So the rotation which I gave to this line is theta, where I got this position. Now what I do is, from this position, now I go around a circle. I'll complete a circle starting with this point. So if you complete a circle, what is the total angle? It is 360 degrees in degrees, or in radians 2 pi. So already I have covered angle theta. Then from starting this point, if I go around the circle, then I'll be in the same position. But I have covered an extra angle 2 pi. So 2 pi plus theta. So this angle 2 pi plus theta will also give you the same position. That means if I rotate this line for an angle of 2 pi plus theta, it will be subtended at a same position. So if I again go around another circle, then it will be plus 2 pi. That means it will be total 4 pi plus theta. So after covering the angle 4 pi plus theta, this angle will be subtended at the same position. Again, we can repeat this: 6 pi plus theta, 8 pi plus theta, so on. So what you are observing here, so all these angles, theta, 2 pi plus theta, 4 pi plus theta, 6 pi plus theta, so on. So all these are showing that this line is subtended at the same position. You can do it another way. That is, now I will not rotate this in anti-clockwise direction. I'll rotate it in clockwise direction. Now already I have covered theta. So from this position, I'll go in clockwise direction and I'll complete a circle. So if you are measuring an angle in clockwise direction, it will be in negative. That negative sign just indicates the direction. Generally we'll measure angle in anti-clockwise direction, the direction which is opposite to the clock. If you measure angle in clockwise direction, just you have to put a minus. That minus indicates just the direction itself. So now from this point, if I go in clockwise direction and I complete a circle, so total angle will be again 2 pi. So just to indicate the direction, it is minus 2 pi. So minus 2 pi plus theta, which I have covered initially. So where I am now? I am in the same position. Theta first, then from this position in clockwise direction, one circle. So I will be in the same position. What that means? Minus 2 pi plus theta will give the same position of this line. So it is as same as theta. It is as same as theta. Now once again, go around one circle in the clockwise direction. That means once again 2 pi, but in negative direction. So minus 2 pi theta means minus 4 pi plus theta. That means this gives the position as same as theta. So that means, so what are the angles? So theta is the original position from this value. So then I observed that 2 pi plus theta, 4 pi plus theta, 6 pi plus theta, so on, and minus 2 pi plus theta, minus 4 pi plus theta, so on. So all these angles will give you the same position of this line, and hence the position that theta gives is same as all these values, is same as that of all these values. All these angles will give you the same position as that of theta. So all these will be considered as argument values. So basically argument is what? It is the value of theta which gives this position. But all these angles are giving the same position. So all these values are considered to be argument of Z. So thus, for a non-zero complex number, we have infinitely many argument values, because here in this place you can put any even multiple of pi. So in general, you can take 2n pi plus theta. If theta is an argument value, that means if theta gives this position, then for any integer n, 2n pi plus theta will also indicate the same position. So that means this will also be argument. And we have infinitely many integers, so there will be infinitely many values, 2n pi plus theta. So hence there are infinitely many argument values. So among these values, I need a unique one in calculation purpose. So for that we will consider the principal value of argument of. Okay. So the principal value of argument of Z means it is an value of argument of Z. So as we've seen now, so we have infinitely many argument values for a complex number. Among those infinitely many values, a unique value is taken as the principal value of argument of Z. Right? So graphically we have seen that if theta is an argument value, then the next argument value to get the same position. What is the angle which we have to cover? So we have to cover 360 degree. That is the angle 2 pi. So if theta is the argument value, the next argument value will be 2 pi plus theta. So 2 pi plus theta. So if this is argument value, next argument value will be 4 pi plus theta. Next will be 6 pi plus theta. So these will be consecutive argument values. And in the negative direction, minus 2 pi plus theta, minus 4 pi plus theta, so on. And if you see that any consecutive argument values will differ from an angle 2 pi. That means difference between any two consecutive argument values is 2 pi. This is the minimum difference between two consecutive argument values. So hence what we'll do is, so that means on the number line, suppose this is 0, pi, 2 pi, 3 pi, 4 pi, minus pi, minus 2 pi, minus 3 pi, so on. So this is a real number line on which I have marked only these particular angles. Suppose for a complex number, the argument value which I have got is theta, and suppose it is in between 0 and pi. Suppose the value which I have got for argument of z is theta, and suppose it lies in between 0 and 2 pi. So when this is argument value, then if I give 2 pi rotation, the 360-degree rotation plus 2 pi, so where it will be, so it is in between here, so it will be here. So 2 pi plus theta. So this is the theta rotation. This is theta. So 2 pi plus theta. So this will be the next argument value. Next, if I add 2 pi, so here it will be 4 pi plus theta. So these will be the argument values. These will be the argument values. And in the negative direction also. So where it will be, so somewhere here, minus 2 pi plus theta. So if this is minus 4 pi, so here minus 4 pi plus theta. So these will be the argument values. Now, if we consider any interval of length 2 pi, so if I consider the interval 0 to 2 pi, so this interval contains only one argument, it is theta. So from 2 pi to 4 pi, so if I consider this interval also contains only one argument. Next length interval will also contain one argument. Like this, if you consider any interval of length 2 pi, it will exactly contains one argument value of z. It will contain exactly one argument value of z. And now the point is which interval we can choose. Once again, you can choose any interval of length 2 pi. You can choose any interval. So 0 to 2 pi is there. So I don't need that one. So if I consider the interval pi to 3 pi, so interval contains, consider the interval pi 3 pi. So this is also an interval of length 2 pi which contains only one argument pi. Like this, if you consider any interval of length 2 pi, it contains exactly one argument value. Now the question is which interval we can choose. Once again, we have options. Once again, we have many choices. Among that, we have to choose one standard interval. And universally, we will consider the interval minus pi to pi. We consider the interval minus pi to pi. That is this interval. Minus pi to pi. So once again, it is an interval of length 2 pi. So exactly it should contain one argument value, and that argument value is called the principal value of argument of z. So the principal value of argument of z is nothing but an argument value of z and value of argument value of z which lies in the interval minus pi to pi. So that is called the principal value of argument of z, and it is denoted by this symbol, capital A RZ. This is the notation for, the principal value of argument of z. Okay. Now, Now, so this is about argument of z and principal value of argument of z. Now the question is, so in defining the argument of z, we have kept the zero complex number out of the definition. We have not considered the zero complex number. You can observe initially we have started with a complex number z is equal to a plus ib, which is other than 0. Why we have excluded z is equal to 0? Why we have excluded z is equal to 0? So what is the reason leaving behind the zero complex number? In defining the argument of a complex number, so what actually we have done here? So if we have a complex number, so precisely non-zero, we will draw a line from the zero complex number to that complex number, and we'll measure the angle from the positive real axis to that line, and that angle is taken as argument value. And doing this, so in this procedure, actually the zero complex number actually acts as a fixed pole. So keeping the origin as a reference, we'll draw lines from this point to all the other non-zero complex numbers. So in this theory, we have kept the zero complex number as a fixed pole. Now if I allow to take z is equal to 0 also, if I allow to take the value z to be 0, then can I draw a line from the fixed pole origin to itself? Can I draw it? So there is no line from a point to itself. So I cannot see that line. And also we cannot extend, as there is no line, there is no direction at all. So in this case, in this previous case, if a plus ib is any non-zero complex number, so it will be on the plane anywhere except the origin. So it could be here, or it could be here, or it could be here. It could be anywhere on the plane. So it could be anywhere. So I can draw a line. From the origin to that point. And there is some direction, right? Actually, based on that direction, so the angle depends, right? So if this is the direction, so this will be the angle. Or in this case, this will be the angle. And in this case, this will be the angle. And in this case, this will be the angle. So the direction actually gives you the angle. But if in this case, if I put z is equal to 0, so first of all, there is no line. So I have to draw a line from a point to itself. And in what direction I can draw it? So can I draw it in this direction, or this, or this, or this? So it is undefined. In what direction I have to consider it? So it is unknown. It is a question. So I cannot consider that line in any of the directions. So in what direction I have to consider that line? It is a big question. So hence we'll drop the complex number z is equal to 0. So for the zero complex number, we will not define argument of z because in defining argument of z for non-zero complex numbers, we have taken the origin as a fixed pole. It is a fixed point of reference. From this point, we draw lines to all the complex numbers. But if I allow z to take the value 0, then how can I draw that line? How can I draw a line from the origin to itself? And in what direction I can draw that line? So there will be no fixed theta. So I will not get a unique value, or I will not get a well-defined value for theta. Hence we'll exclude 0 in defining argument of z. Or in other way, we have another method of defining argument of Z, right? So what is that? So for a complex number a plus ib, for a complex number a plus ib, so put a is equal to r cos theta and b is equal to r sin theta. So any value satisfying these two equations, any value of theta satisfying this equation will be considered as argument of Z. If I put Z is equal to 0, it is 0 plus I0, that is A is 0, B is 0. So it is also 0, it is also 0. And now what about R? What about R? So R is actually the length of the line joining the origin on the point. And in this case, the point is origin itself. So the length of the line from origin to itself is 0. So R will be 0, R will be 0. So we have R cos theta is equal to 0, R sin theta is equal to 0. So equation obviously holds because R is 0, R is 0. So 0 into anything is 0, 0 into anything is 0. So that means whatever the value of theta you give, so for that value of theta, these two equations will obviously hold. For all the values of theta, for all the values of theta, these two equations obviously hold. So we do not have a well-defined theta value for Z is equal to 0. Z is equal to 0. We do not have a well-defined theta value. Hence, to avoid this confusion, just to avoid these confusions, so just we'll exclude the complex number Z is equal to 0 in defining its argument, right? So this is about argument, principal argument of Z, and why we will not define argument for the 0 complex number. In the next session, we shall see how to find the principal value of argument of Z. In the next session, we shall see how to find the principal value of argument of Z. Thank you.